Bio 20, welcome to chapter 8. You have already learned about the heart, labeling the heart, and you've seen a video on how to dissect a heart. Let's get into talking about what is the circulatory system, what does it comprise of, and what is its main role. Okay, so today our goal is to learn the different structures, which you've done, how it flows through the body, and you've already done all of this part where you've talked about pulmonary, systemic, coronary. Okay, today's main job is just describing what is the job of the circulatory system. So you've already covered most of this. We're just going to add on to our understanding. So the main functions of the circulatory system. These notes, you can follow along. There's 5 little blanks. So I'm going to start with the first 2 and just shorthand this, guys. If you've noticed, my notes are pretty shorthanded as well. Like they just have quick little information in there. If you want to write everything down, you're welcome to. So the circulatory system's job is essentially to transport gases and nutrients around our body. So if we think back to chapter 7, respiration, and chapter 6, digestion, we learned how oxygen enters into our lungs and how it is diffused from the alveoli over into a capillary. We've also learned that when you eat food and it gets digested all the way down to the duodenum and then all the way through the small intestine, we have villi that collect and then transport all of our macronutrients such as glucose and proteins, so amino acids and fatty acids and glycerols, into our blood or into the lymphatic system. So this is one of the main purposes of the circulatory system is once that is entered into your bloodstream, it's got to go places. It's got to go to the places that are needed. So the glucose to your cells, you need oxygen to your cells, you need oxygen to your muscles. But we also need to remember that we want to get rid of all the waste. Okay, so what we talked about in the respiratory system, buildup of carbon dioxide is extremely dangerous. We haven't talked about, but we'll talk about the excretory system being urea. Urea is what's part of your urine, and in buildup, it can be quite dangerous because it's made out of ammonia. So we want to take those out of our blood. The other main thing that the circulatory system does is it actually regulates our internal temperature. It's important that our internal temperature stays at a certain 37 degrees, right? And that's simply because we know that proteins, which is pretty much a large mass majority of our body, can denature at too high of a temperature, and they can actually slow down and not work properly at too low of a temperature. So our blood actually helps maintain and keep that internal temperature. Another one is transporting hormones. Now, you won't learn about hormones until Bio 30, but it is really, really, really important. For example, this little piece right here, I'm just showing you guys on my video, this area right here, you have a gland called the thyroid gland. It secretes something called thyroxine. Okay, and thyroxine actually targets every cell in your body for metabolism. So if this isn't working, or if your body can't transport that hormone around through the blood, you're not going to be able to do metabolizing. You're not going to be able to metabolize anything. So that's another key part of what the blood does. Another one is it protects against loss of fluid. So you guys will and learn later in this chapter about blood clotting. We have a closed system. The blood stays inside our body. That's a very important thing. Okay. You have, and we're going to talk about how much blood, about 5 liters approximately of blood in your body. And so you need to keep it in there. You don't want to lose any because, again, it's key to transporting oxygen around your body. So got to keep it in, don't want it out. And the other one, which we learned already, is all about keeping our body safe against microbes or toxins or anything like that. So the immune system. You learned about the immune system prior to Easter break. So that hopefully is triggering, oh yeah, white blood cells, they did this is how it was done. So hopefully you're remembering all that. So these are the 5 main functions of the circulatory system. The next thing I want to quickly chat about is just what is it made up of? This is pretty easy. We're going to keep it simple. It's got 3 parts, okay? It's got the heart, the vessels, and the blood. So kind of think of it like a very congested roadway, okay? So the blood, the fluid, or like the cars driving around on the blood vessels, the roadway and the pathway, and the heart's kind of the main junction, the start and stop area of it, okay? So that's kind of the 3 parts. We are already talked about the heart. We've already talked about blood. The last thing we're going to talk about in this unit and in a couple of days is all about the blood vessels. So you'll have actually seen and talked about all the 3 major components. So together, the heart and the blood vessels make up what we call cardiovascular system. So that's what we refer to when we talk about the circulatory system. We usually call it the cardiovascular system. And the cardio comes from the word Greek meaning heart, and vascular comes from the Latin word meaning vessel. So it's saying hearts and vessels in one area. So that's kind of how we get up and make that word work. So that's kind of just the big chunks of what is the point of the circulatory system and what is it made up of. Please get these in your notes and have a great day.